Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Sloppy Bro Show. It's your host Marcus. Hope everybody's having a good evening slash day, depending on what part of the world you're in. But as always, welcome Patriots, Americans, punk rockers, anybody. All right, all right. I love that little song. I don't know about you guys, but I love that damn surf rock music, man. Shit makes me want to grab a board and hit the waves, even though it's been forever since I've done that. I don't even know if I could still do it, but whatever. It's good to dream. So anyway, I wanted to do another video. I know the last live stream I said that was probably going to be the last one for the 2019, but we've still got 4 hours left. So I hope for those of you going out tonight and partaking in the New Year's Eve celebrations, I hope you're smart. Don't drink and drive. Call an Uber. Call a friend. Sleep on the damn street if you have to. Just don't risk getting busted and giving the state all your damn money. I've been there. I've done that. It's not worth it. But be safe. Take care of yourself and watch out for those around you. So anyway, I wanted to do another video, kind of picking off where we left with a live stream where we were talking about the, Second Amendment rally in Virginia, being pro Second Amendment and all that. And the reason why is because I had a viewer posted a comment that was very detailed and very passionate, and I just kind of wanted to address a few things because I'm gonna be honest with you. With this whole show and the things that I talk about, um, I'm a working class man. I'm working Monday through Friday. 40 hours a week to pay my bills and take care of my kid. That's my main concern. I try to stay current on the events that are unfolding around us. I do that by watching YouTube videos, catching little snippets from independent journalists that I follow, as well as mainstream media. I do watch PBS and Fox News and whatnot, and I know the majority of it's fake, but you gotta check it out just so you can know what they're trying to push and the propaganda and whatnot. But my point being is, I am by no means an expert in politics when it comes to politics, when it comes to, legislation or, bills and, shit like that. All I know is, how the world affects me personally. And basically, when I talk about shit that's going on, that's my point of view that I'm trying to, purvey. Uh, I don't expect anybody to take what I say as a grain of salt. These are all just my opinions, my personal daily revelations and things that I see with my own eye, and I try to convey that into something simple for the average Joe to read and check out. But by no means do I expect you to agree with me, or follow me in any way, shape, or form. And you know I'm not like fucking uh, Paul Joseph Watson or Tim Cast or the Red Elephants. Those guys that do this shit 24/7. They've got people digging up facts and fact checked and shit. I don't have that kind of time. So that being said, one of the biggest comments I got from that episode was from I'm not going to say their name, but an individual saying, "Wake up!" First you said, "Good morning, Patriots." Who are you talking to? Those who say they are pro Second A, yet in the same breath will say there are free citizens in our society who don't or shouldn't have the right to keep and bear arms? Or is it the patriots who fear their government so much they have been telling everyone to know the laws because they don't want to see anyone get arrested? That also falls into the pro Second Amendment fakes. Okay, so it got me thinking. What exactly is a patriot? For me, the simple definition of a patriot is somebody that loves America, loves the country. So I decided to open up my browser, and I'll go ahead and show you that right now. And just do a simple search on patriot. Oh, that's not it. Let's see here. Patriot. So when I do a Google search on patriot, the simple definition of a patriot, a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. Now, reading that, it has nothing to do with whether or not you support or like the individual Bill of Rights, or the Constitution. It just states simply a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. So, in my opinion, I mean, even if you're an American, but you're not for the Second Amendment, I still think you can be a patriot because you love this country, you want to put this country first, but still have issues regarding the Second Amendment. I don't think just because you have an issue with individual bills that you still can't be a patriot. But apparently there are those that feel that way, and I'm really glad that this individual, made the comment that he made because it forced me to do a little research and start digging into a few things. So he goes on to talk about the sanctuary counties. And for those of you that subscribe to the channel, I mean, if you want to see the comment, you can look at it. I don't delete or block comments. You can look at it, read the comment for yourself, and throw in your own 2 cents. Maybe you agree with this gentleman, maybe you don't. I don't know. But he goes on to say, as for the so-called sanctuary counties and those praising these sheriffs and county boards, has it not occurred to you that they're still enforcing every unconstitutional law today that they have held over the last 100 years? Or if they hadn't enforced these unconstitutional laws up to this point, this wouldn't be happening today. These counties are not sanctuary anything. They are just pandering. Once these laws are enacted and all the bootlickers will be making the same lousy excuses then as they do now as to why they have to enforce these laws. Less than 1% of this country actually believes in rights. I would argue that. I think a lot of people do, care about the Constitution, our individual rights. I would definitely think it's more than 1%. I think the majority of voters out there do care, and that's why they go out and vote. But that's just my opinion. If you do not believe that each and every last free citizen has the right to keep and bear arms, you are neither pro Second Amendment or patriot. Now, first of all, I do believe that every free citizen in this country has the right to bear arms, period. As a matter of fact, I think it should be a law that's passed that when you're 13, you have to mandatorily own a gun and have a license to carry. Now, if you're a felon, especially a violent felon, anybody that's gone to prison in time, then I think you forego those rights as a free citizen. You give them up. Now, for nonviolent offenders, I think amendments can be made once they've done their time and they've learned their lesson. As long as they didn't hurt anybody, I do believe that they should be given a second chance. But if you committed a violent act in the process of murdering somebody during the process of a crime, then yeah, you forgive that shit forever, man. Fuck you. But again, this is just my opinion. You may not agree with me, and that's fine. So I think if you believe that, that doesn't make you any less of a patriot. If you think that people forgo their rights once they commit a crime. He also goes on about Civil War, how we're a nation of cowards, we fear the government, they fear losing their freedom or life. I don't think it's so much that they fear the government. It's just that if you look at the society that we live in order to succeed or survive, you have to have a job. You have to work, you have to pay bills. I mean, that's the way our government runs. It runs on capitalism. If you don't do any of those things, you're not going to succeed or survive very long. So as individuals, I think we have to pick and choose our individual battles. I mean, as far as what's important to us so that we don't, put our jobs or our, livelihoods unnecessarily at risk. Now, again, not everybody is going to agree on the same thing or view the same rights and everything the same as everybody else. And that's fine. And if you don't, I don't think that makes you any less of a patriot. If you love this country and you're willing to die for it, like if we were to go have another damn World War III with Germany or some shit like that, and everybody wanted to enlist and go fight for it, you're a patriot. You know, if you can't because of your some kind of physical ailment that you can't go physically fight it, but if you're doing things within the country to put the country first and to help support those who are putting their lives on, you're a patriot. Period. But again, that's just my opinion. Um, he goes on about the left, which I don't blame the left, for any of this shit. Um, my only issue with the left is they appear to be anti-patriot, anti-American. They don't appear to support anything within our constitution or the way our government's run. They appear to hate anything that has to do with capitalism or the president and whatnot. So that's my main beef with the left. And then of course he goes on to bash Trump, saying that Trump's a Democrat and doesn't really support Republicans or conservatives. Which again, personally, I would disagree. I think Trump's done a lot for this country during his 3 years as president. He's helped the economy. He's helped drop unemployment. He's moved the embassy to Jerusalem. Um, he's working on building the border wall to secure the state, the nations. Um, so I think Trump's doing a lot of good things. Now, do I agree on everything that Trump's doing? No. Um, One of the things this gentleman brings up, is the bump stock ban. Now, look, I'll be honest with you. I support the Second Amendment. I do conceal carry, but I've only just started recently, getting into guns. For the longest time, I never owned a gun. Never thought I needed one. Now I own a shotgun, and well, I did own a shotgun. I did own an AK-47. I had a 9 millimeter, but a couple of weeks ago I was fishing, and the boat sank, and I lost all that shit. So I mean that kind of sucked. But say la vie. I do plan on getting guns in the future, but we'll see what happens because guns are expensive. So um, I don't necessarily blame the left for everything. I mean, I don't understand the bump stock ban. I don't know. From what I get, a bump stock just makes it fire quicker. Um, Personally, I think it's ridiculous to have a bump stock. Instead, I believe we should have access to full automatic rifles just like the military does. I also believe that if you're, a service person, if you've served in the armed forces, and when you get out, that you should be able to own and use, a fully automatic weapon or a silenced weapon. If you were using those in the military, you should be able to use them in your civilian life. I mean, you know how to use it. You've been trained. The government spent lots of money training you. So therefore, when you get out, you should still be able to use and access that shit. Period. If you've never been trained to use those kind of weapons, I think you should go through a training course. You should get a license, only to say, hey, this person knows what the hell they're doing. They're not a rookie or an amateur. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree. But for one thing, I am adamant about if you did serve in the military, then yes, you should have. You should have to spend an ungodly amount, money, getting permits and shit to use that. I don't agree with all that. So then he started to talk about things that Trump has supported regarding bills and whatnot. So I thought I'd check those out. And the first bill is the Fix NICS bill. This is from the what is it website? Uh, Town hall website. It looks like. Anyway, I didn't really know much about the Fix NCIS bill from Congress. So I did have to look it up. But apparently there's currently a bill making its way through Congress known as the Fix NICS Act of 2017. And it looks like this article was posted in March of 2018. So as you can tell, I'm a little behind. Um, but anyway, the NICS is designed to close a hole in the current federal firearms legislation. If passed, the Fix NIS bill would amend the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act, which really don't know much about that one either, and make it mandatory for all federal agencies to report criminal convictions to the Attorney General, so those convictions are put into the background check system. Okay, now I'm not going to go into the whole bill. Anybody that wants to do that, you know, the link is townhall.com. You can find the bill and read it for yourself. But just reading that little bit, I really don't see what the main problem is. Um, I think federal agents should report criminal convictions to the attorney general so that it prevents them from getting guns or purchasing guns in the future, especially if they've been convicted, for a violent crime. Because again, I'm against violent criminals, owning guns. Now, granted, I understand the law. Criminals don't obey the law. They're not going to follow the law, so these things are mute. I agree with you 100%. Personally, I think all the laws on the books are bullshit because criminals don't follow the law, and all we're doing is punishing law abiding citizens. I agree with that. But that's not the world we live in, so we have to pick and choose our battles. And this is one that if the government's going to make a law, just I'd have to look at it too more in depth to see if I, support it 100%. But just that little bit, I agree with. He goes on about the TAPS Act, which is the Threat Assessment Prevention and Safety Act, a complete analysis. This one's by Andrew Tohey, and you can find that at thetruthaboutguns.com. And this article was written in 2019, August. So this guy first learned about the Threat Assessment Prevention and Safety Act when he saw a tweet by Texas Representative Dan Crenshaw, because he'd mentioned it in the same tweet as the state red flag laws, which we'll be covering those as well. I immediately assumed what sort of federal red flag laws, since I have constitutional concerns about red flag laws. My initial impression of the TAPS Act was that's not only an entirely positive one. So the first thing he did was he Googled it. He came across a one-page PDF, and after reading, he was ready to sit down and write this article. So, Section 1 just gives an explanation of the name. TAP stands for Threat Assessment Prevention and Safety. Section 2, part of the bill where Congress explains why the bill exists. There is nothing functional or impactful here, just an expression that something should be done about indiscriminate incidents of targeted violence, that the U.S. can do something about it, and the one way to do something about it is to get all the different levels of government together to talk about how to do something. I agree with that. All levels of government should be working together to, solve these problems. Section 3 is a long one because it defines all the various terms used in the bill. Most of these are pretty benign, like defining educational entities, mental health service, professional. The section also defines state to include D.C., the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the American Marianas and American Samoa. There is, however, one very important definition in this section: behavioral threat assessment management, which I'll refer to as BJM throughout this article. It describes this process as identifying people who exhibit patterns of concerning behavior that indicate an interest, motive, intention, or capability of carrying out an act of violence. Okay, so again, I'm not going to go into the entire bill, but if one of their concerns is, whether or not we should give crazy people guns or they should be allowed to have guns, then the answer is no. Now, when I say crazy, I mean people that are fucking, severely fucked in the head. Not people that have served and have come home with, PTSD. I consider that in a separate category. Yes, those guys need help, and be able to speak with somebody to resolve those issues. I have never had that. I don't even know where to begin, but I do know that it needs to be treated differently than individuals that are just fucking nuts, that didn't serve, that just came out of the womb and they're batshit crazy. Those two things are separate, need to be handled differently and looked at differently. I don't think that a serviceman who comes home from war should automatically have his rights stripped to not be able to have a gun just because he's got some PTSD. I don't think that should happen at all. He fought for this country. He saw shit that you and I, as normal, regular citizens, will never see, so we cannot put ourselves in his shoes. It has to be handled differently. So, again, Trump's supporting bills like these. And again, I'm not going into the entire bill. I'm not going to say that I support it 100% because I have not sat down and read through the entire thing. And then lastly, we've got the MASS Act, which I really couldn't find a description. I actually had to go to the Congress website to look up um, to see what it's about. But apparently, it provides grants to Senate to encourage the implementation and maintenance of firearms license requirements and for other purposes. Okay, I get the firearms license requirements. It's the other purposes that get me. Why are they just saying other purposes? Why can't they list all the purposes? Um, so the act is cited as making America safe and secure. Um, it's adding in the following. In general, this part, section 3051 definitions. In this part, the term covered license means a firearms license or a firearms dealer's license. Okay, I do believe that you need a license to purchase firearms, and I agree with the ability to have a license to sell firearms. Just like I'm all for having a license to vote. We have to have one to go fishing, to go hunting, to drive a car. I mean, licenses are a thing. I wish they weren't, but they are. So they're not going to change unless the entire 2/3 of the American people get together and demand that it change, which personally I don't think it's going to happen because I do agree with what this gentleman was saying at the beginning that, you know, less than 1%. I think that number's a bit low. I would say less than, I would probably say about, 35, 40% of the country don't really give a shit, are just lazy. The rest of us vote, you know. And let's see. The term extreme risk protection means a written order issued by a state court or signed by a magistrate for a period of time, not to exceed a time frame established by the state. Requires that any firearm and ammunition under the custody control of the individual be removed. The term means that the individual is categorically ineligible to receive a covered license. Okay, so I guess from what I'm reading there, and you guys can double check for yourself, just go to congress.gov. This bill is pretty much, for people that have the shit that maybe don't necessarily have a license, didn't procure one the right way, or maybe the government gets wind of that, hey, maybe this individual shouldn't have these, based on prior history or whatnot. So again, I can't say that I support it 100%, just the little bit that I've read. Yes, I think if you're a fucking individual that's shady and, living, outside the law, then yeah, we probably should, make sure that, you don't have the ability to fucking, commit a gross crime or a mass murder or fucking, whatever. So, you know, I really do appreciate this individual, commented the way he did. Because I'll be honest, I never would have known about these bills or these legislations or things that were happening had he not mentioned it. I do think, though, it's a little off base for him to accuse, people for not being patriots if they don't support, all this shit. I mean, if they support any of these things. Um, we are a country of laws, a nation of laws. Period. That's the way we are right now. So, if people want to follow the law or uphold the law, I don't think that makes you less of a patriot. You know, if you want to change the law, fine. Then get a bunch of people to back you up. Vote people into Congress and the Senate that are going to fucking change it. I mean, we did it with voting. I mean, voting didn't used to be 18. I believe it used to be 21 at one time. And the people got together and said, no, if we're going to draft, then, they should be able to vote. And we got it changed. So, I mean, we can change anything we want. It just takes you, the individual, to get involved locally with your politics. Get the people behind you and then fucking change it. And once it's changed, I'll support it. Because I'm going to stay within the rule of law and I'm going to follow the law. If I didn't, then I'd be a fucking criminal. But if you want to be a law-abiding citizen, then we have to follow the laws, even if we don't agree with them. If we don't agree with them, it's up to us to see that they get changed. The only way we can do that is be getting involved locally in government, either running ourselves for, local positions or supporting those that do, rather than just sitting home and watching The fucking Bachelor. But anyway, I didn't want to get into a long spiel over this. Uh, I just wanted to say that I really appreciated the comment. Um, I respect, the viewpoint. Um, and I wanted to say thank you because it has forced me to do a little more research and dig. And I think that's a good thing. And, that's kind of the whole point overall, you know, is debate, comments. And that's why I want people to comment on the videos. If you want to call me names and take the low road, that's fine. You're not hurting my damn feelings. I could give a shit. But if you want to be methodical and give, in-depth comments and try to support your arguments, I respect that so much because it forces me to have to do my own little research to kind of see where you're coming from and then decide, do I agree with that or not? So to that gentleman that posted the comment, thank you. I know we had mentioned, having you on the live stream sometime. If you're not comfortable with that, that's cool. But if you'd still be like to be a part of it, just shoot me a message or drop me a private comment, and we'll see what we can work out. But anyway, that's all I wanted to get into tonight. So thanks again for tuning in. If you don't mind, if you liked what you saw and what I had to say, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to punch that notification bell so every time I put up a new video, you'll be notified. And also, if you could share the videos, within your own social media networks, that would be super cool as well because I'm really trying to grow this channel. I was hoping to hit 200 subscribers by New Year's Eve before 2020 came around, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But I did pick up 3 more, so I am grateful for that. But anyway, as always, thanks a lot. I will catch you fuckers on the flip side. Cheers.